welcome back to Real Cast Fishing. Your host, Glenn, with the City of Island Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube. And this round, what do we got for you? Well, we're just going back to, ultralight bait casting, specifically the 3D printing that I've been enjoying out there, putting some of these lures together. Specifically, I started out with one, I guess it's a micro blade lure that been miniaturized to weigh about, I think it was 1.6 grams. And I was able to test that one out and got some really good hookups with that one with some of the fishies. And then I shifted over to a surface popper right here. Okay, and this one is a scaled down version of one that you use for bluefish. And I think I posted it in one of the videos about how I use some little paint, just normal, I think craft paint, and then I use this 5-minute epoxy to lock in the color. And I've taken it out a couple of times now, and it's working out really well. The other thing after that I put together was I wanted to try out one of those saltwater lures, ones that you typically use for Spanish mackerel. So I printed that one up and ended up with a little deal like this. And here it is right here. And I think I posted a video on that one just describing what this one is right here. And it's already been beat up. But what was really nice was I initially started with just the hook in the back here, the little treble hook. And then in that gotcha style lure, it uses a, let me see if I can get it out here. It uses a little, like a floating treble hook that goes back and forth. And I noticed that I got some better hookups when I made this 3D printed lure. It weighs about 1/9 of an ounce. This one, I made two variants of it. One was yellow with a red head, and it actually would sink a little bit more. I weighed it down, and it would float on top, but still kind of slowly submerge, and I got some really good hits there. This one I tried, and I got some hits, but I didn't get anything yet. This one actually floats a little bit better on top. It only has one hook, or one treble hook, and I do think that one will probably produce here in a little bit with the weather change here starting to warm up in our area. So that's what I wanted to talk about, was just really some fishing related things. What's up, OG? All right. Hey, little Oxy YSN. All right. Having a good time over here, just talking fishing related things. Really just an open forum. I do have that Little Red Book of Fly Fishing series that's ongoing, where I just read through the book and go through 5 tips at a time, and then we break out from there. But for this one, this is mainly just maybe an open session for y'all that want to maybe ask some questions and whatnot. Eminem, I love fishing. Yeah, I do too. In fact, you can see I have a number of poles here, and then let's see, back over there in the corner, there's a bunch of fly rods. And then right above me, there's a bunch right up here. Let's see. Do you know any good fishing locations in Tennessee? Ooh, unfortunately, no. I'm actually located here in Texas. So my expertise, or at least knowledge, is mainly here in the Lone Star State. But I did notice a lot of folks out there fishing, I think it was trout over there in Gatlinburg. So I think I saw a couple of videos from some folks I've been watching there, and it looked like they were doing pretty good. I didn't know they stocked trout in the middle of I guess there's a river that runs through there. All righty. Let's see. Let me see if I can grab one of these other ones here. Okay, so here is the parts of that 3D printed popping lure. Okay, so this one is initially, it's a popper that goes about 7 inches in length right here. I narrowed it down or downsized it to basically 2 inches and made it for this ultralight bait casting gear that I've been using. So this is one that's called the Featherflight Kingfisher. It's one that I used earlier during the trout season, casting 1 gram trout magnets, and that worked really good. What's good bait for bass? Bait in general, well, they definitely like live bait. So minnows and whatnot are usually good. If you want to go with lures, this time of year, at least in our area, they probably work the beds and whatnot. So if you have some kind of plastic that you can drop into their beds and do some sight casting, that might be a good opportunity for you there. In some of the ponds that I've been fishing here, you also get the ones that are kind of just circling the pond and whatnot. And so I've gone out there a couple of times with fly fishing gear as well as with the bait casting gear. And I've noticed in the case of fly fishing, streamers, the olive woolly bugger, the near deer, that's one that we tie locally here, and damselflies, about something that's mimicking a bait fish that seem to be doing well in the local ponds here, as well as I make a few flies that are, well, they kind of mimic a Senko that you can drop right into the bed as well, and put on those polarized glasses. Excuse me, sorry. Put on some polarized glasses and you should be good to go. Let's see, do you musky fish? No, unfortunately there's no muskie here in Texas. I think there's some pickerel in some places, but no, I don't musky fish. I have seen some videos and other folks fishing for them, and it looks like it'd be pretty good. Let's see, other things. I do have another, I call it the GoPro mobile fishing live stream. It's where I live stream straight from a GoPro while I'm out at different ponds and whatnot. And additionally, I started shifting over to using my phone also. And I'll just run it for an hour plus and just see what happens. And there's some days it's good and other days it's not so great. But I am prepping for hitting the local lake here, do some kayak fishing, initially trolling for some of the white bass, as well as maybe bottom bouncing for some of the crappie that may be in the area. And additionally, I definitely like putting out some of those jug lines. Ski do Ohio. I'm not sure what that means, but appreciate you joining today. All right. Anyhow, wondering if any of y'all do any kayak fishing or possibly some jug lining. I have been putting together some of these jug lines that I call them self-setting jug lines. So what happens is you can go ahead and pre-bait them and launch them, and within a few, less than a minute or so, you're able to catch a few fish, or not catch a few fish, but get them in the water and start already fishing and whatnot. I kayak fish Lake Texoma. Awesome. All right. I wonder how the bite's been going. Hadn't gone there yet this year. In past years, we normally take our kayaks and see if we can hit some of the surface bite. Typically over there at the Spillway ramp, as well as Eisenhower, putting in over there and kind of working the coves and then heading out from there. Let's see, or are they not there where you're at? There's gar, yes. There's a couple of places that will go for gar. We got the local lake, Lake Lavon. Definitely see some gar there. Have cotton released about every year. I get some, especially jug lining. Additionally, have lost some nice size ones over there fishing the Red River over there by the dam. That's the tail race to Lake Texoma. And then there's some really big ones over there on the Trinity and the Brazos that I've seen some folks catching them. Some nice 4 or 5 plus footers fishing the Trinity for those gar. So yeah, they're there. Let's see, it was on fire for topwater. Oh, nice, topwater. Oh yeah. Let's see, I go to Lake Stanford. Okay, have you fished in Ohio? No, I haven't fished in Ohio. Any particular fish or maybe some tips that you want to throw out there in your particular area? How do you catch catfish? Excuse me. All right, there's different ways to catch them, but I typically just jug line them, or I'll just Fished some shad from my John boat. Caught a 50-pound catfish last week. Nice. Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. If you look at the channel, do a quick search, or Google, not Google, but YouTube search. Do like Jugline COAF for the channel. You'll see a lot of the videos that we've got there. I haven't caught a 50-pounder, more like a 30 plus pounder in the past. But those are nice, especially when you're jug lining. There's one video where the jug line goes under for about 30 seconds and then pops back up, and that was a fun one to catch. And then the last two bigger ones I've caught jug lining from the kayak, and both of those I had to take them back to shore and land them from there because, well, it's kind of hard to land those guys in the little kayak that I use. In fact, my kayak only weighs about 38 pounds, so catfish bigger than the kayak, or at least weighs bigger than the kayak. All right, good stuff. Let's see. I have been getting into the 3D printed lures ever since I got the 3D printer, and I've been playing around with that. I'm hoping to make some adjustments on some of the lures so I can continue to make some of these customized ultralight bait casting or bait finesse gears. So I'm using these bait casting rigs. Let's see, this one right here. Oops, sorry. This one is the Casking Zephyr right here, BFS. This is the one without the reel clicker. All right, I've got another one that has a reel clicker that makes a noise when the line comes out and drag is pulled. But I did customize it by adding a high spool speed bearing to it, and I can cast about 1/24 ounce, no problem. 1/16, no problem on that one also. And then I do use another one, the Shimano Scorpion 17. That one handles 1/16 ounce, no problem. But the one that handles the best for really light lures is, again, that Featherfly Kingfisher. A lot of folks say they don't like the color. It's got the coloration of a kingfisher bird right here. But what's really nice about it is once you got it dialed in, you got your thumb educated, you can cast a 1 gram trout magnet. In fact, I think the first limit of trout this year, I used this rod fishing for the trout with a 1 gram trout magnet. And, they say you can use spinning gear. Why use this ultralight bait casting gear? It's just another way to fish, and I like it. It's fun. All right. Let's see. When it comes to fly fishing, I have been shifting over to a 3-weight that I can also Euro nymph. It's a 10-foot 3-weight that I typically just use. I did put a shooting headed on, and I noticed that you really don't need that. Instead, I shifted over and just took it to a weight forward fly line, and then shifted over to it's called the Rio Nymph Shorty. So if there's an opportunity for fishing Euro Nymph style, I'm able to take the leader, Euro Nymph Shorty leader, and line setup and get it rigged up fairly quickly because it's a loop-to-loop connection, and I can work a Euro Nymph style, a particular area that may have a fish or two. Let's see, I've never used a bait caster for lightweight reels, only spinning reels. Yeah, I initially had only used spinning reels, ultralight gear and whatnot, and then a subscriber suggested, take a look at this thing called BFS Fishing. And when I looked it up, Bait Finesse Systems Fishing, which originated in Japan, just noted that it was just way too expensive to get started into that type of fishing, because some of the reels go for $300, $400, $500, at least when about 3 to 5 years ago. But now that they've come down in price with different gear that's coming from Japan, as well as China, as well as here in the U.S., and what got me started was the bait finesse piece, the Casking Zephyr. Let's see, Will. Last week, my friend and I fly fish top water for Sharp and Texoma. It's fun fight on fly. Yep, sure is. I'll typically go to the tail race, kind of play with the generation schedule and just see when they're generating and when they stop generating, and I'll try fishing before they start generating, as well as sometimes after. And I think there's some older videos where I've caught a number of stripers, smaller ones, on the little fly rod, as well as a switch rod that I'll typically use, which is, it's basically a spay rod, just shorter, that you can also fish one-handed. Goes about 11.5 foot. And, well, it gives you a little bit more distance at times to get out where the fish may be lurking. So, good stuff. All right. So I guess we got some local folks over here on the live stream. So appreciate y'all joining, and then those guys that are out of state, really interested in how you guys are doing in that particular or in your areas. Let's see. I haven't had much luck at the tail race lately, but the Lakeside Dam is very active this morning. Okay, that makes sense. It does get kind of weird right now with the tail race, especially since we haven't had one of those big floods to get them generating or at least releasing water and whatnot. But I heard that the top water bite, especially in the morning, has been really good. But I haven't been there yet. Hopefully here in the near future, I'm able to make it up there. I kind of maintain both the Oklahoma and Texas license as well as the Texoma license. So I had that opportunity to fish the lake. And then I can also hit the Red River area, so I can actually go into the river and fish, since the going into the Oklahoma, or you're required to have an Oklahoma license if you're in the river itself at the tail race. So I just keep both licenses, because I end up going to the Blue River as well as Broken Bow and Lower Illinois for some of the trout fishing opportunities that are up there. All right. With that, any questions? I'm willing to throw out so many, or maybe answer a few if you've got any questions. Let's see. I mainly fish Texoma, Ray Roberts, Louisville, Levon. Excellent. Let's see. Louisville, I've mainly fished the tail race there. Lila, Lake Louisville Ecological Learning Area. Levon, that's the lake that's closest to me here in Allen. That's where I typically will go, especially during the summer months. Ray Roberts, way back when I used to go there to go duck hunting, but I haven't been to Ray Roberts to fish in a good while. All right. Let's see. Other things. So I am prepping to start hitting the lake, and I've got the kayak all ready to go. Unfortunately, I kind of have some downtime right now. Got to get a vehicle going, since my old trusty pickup is no longer with me. I've got to go pick up a different one. But once I have that and I'm up and running, definitely be hitting some of the lakes, specifically Levon right now, and make that run to Texoma. And then later on in the year, just after summer, I guess, when everyone's going back to school, I'll start taking a look at the opportunity to hit the coast, most likely Galveston, over there by the Galveston Fishing Pier. There's some excellent opportunity there that, well, it's been pretty good. I used to live in Ellen. The pond behind Top Gulf has big bass in it. Yes, there are some big bass there. Unfortunately, I think they made that a subdivision pond now, and my old way to get in there from the back way is may not be there anymore. There was a particular part of the fence that had a wrought iron bars, and one of them was broken off. I was able to kind of scoot in there and be able to hit that pond. And yeah, there are some big ones. But there's a couple times where I've caught a bluegill on the fly, and out of nowhere a big bass swallowed it. And the only reason why I didn't bring that bass in was because he threw the bluegill or spit it back out. So yeah, that definitely has some nice bass in it. I don't know if it has any now, since I haven't been there in so long. But, all right. So at this point, maybe just talking fishing ramblings. But do stay tuned, because we'll get another round of the Little Red Book of Fly Fishing. We'll go through tips 86 through 90. Let's see. Hey, bro, Maria Ramirez. Hi, Maria. Howdy. Hope you are doing good. Just mainly talking fishing related things while we're on the live stream. At this point, mainly I talked about some 3D printed lures, ultralight bait casting, and how I've been using those to kind of test the waters and then making preps to hit the local lake. Maybe probably doing some jug lining here in the near future. So hey, that's some good stuff. And well, there's a whole bunch of different ways that that will once we catch a fish or two, that we'll kind of play around with it and see how we want to cook them. Because I heard there's several good recipes that are out there. Nice to meet you. Yep, nice to meet you too. All right. That said, any questions fishing related? We're over here in Texas, the city of Allen, place just north of Dallas, north of Plano, south of McKinney. All right. And it's mainly North Texas, so it's mainly just freshwater fishing, but yours truly will take the opportunity to hit the local coast here. And I do fish different ways, be it fly fishing, ultralight bait casting, traditional gear, whatnot. And I also been doing some hand line fishing. I made some hand lines as well as picked up some hand lines just because I wanted to see how that worked. And I have caught some catfish using hand lines over here at our local park, which is kind of surprising because way back when, I remember going to some of the local parks here and I'd see people throwing bread in the water, but then I'd hear some big splashes like something was eating it, something big. And I ended up going back there, tried fishing for them. And after trial and error and whatnot, I finally figured out that as long as I could free line a piece of bread, no weight, just basically the hook, the line, and get it in the water. And when the catfish would take the bread, you just let them run with it. No drag, nothing. That's when I started getting some of these bigger guys here. So maybe hit some of your local ponds and whatnot with some bread, free line it, and you may be surprised how big some of these catfish are in some of your local ponds, especially these community ponds, suburban as well as urban locations. Had some really good success there. I release them. I don't want to keep them mainly because it's it's just fun to catch. Let's see. Okay. All right. Take care, Maria. All right. Anyhow, I think that was pretty much most of the stuff I wanted to touch base on. Any questions for those that just joined? Again, we were just talking ultralight bait casting, 3D printing lures, and being able to customize a particular lure and be able to fish it by downsizing, let's say, a design or model and getting it to a size that you consider ultralight bait casting. So, fly fishing wise, I am planning on hitting one of the ponds. I wanted to try just take one fly with me and see what happens, put it on the live stream, be it the GoPro or from the phone, and I'll just hang on and see what happens. So that'll be coming up here as well as the next Little Red Book of Live Fishing series. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and hope you all have a good rest of the week as we roll into Friday, and well, the weekend is approaching. All right. So till next time, we'll catch you all later. And good luck and good fishing.